I had a request to model an office chair, and this is what I came up with. And so I've created a reference image for this, which you can download at the link in the description. And it's pretty easy to do. Couple of little finicky areas. We'll model it in this video, and I'll texture it next video very simply in Substance Painter. But you could certainly use Blender and get something that looks nice. All right, so this is the reference image right here, and I brought it in and I've moved it back. I scaled it 4 times. I went S4, and maybe I went S3, who knows. And I've moved it so that the wheels are pretty much on the x-axis there, and I've centered it so that the z-axis is pretty much in the middle. All right, so we're going to start modeling this using a plane. Rotate X90, bring this up, and we're going to get the approximate shape of the cushion. You can do a more square cushion if you want. I'm going to go into wireframe. It's up to you. So let's just grab this. I think I'll do it around there. And we're not going to follow this, completely. We're just going to do whatever we do. So I'm going to go Control R, and you can see one's right in the middle. Roll my mouse up. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and they line up pretty good. Like that. All right, press 1 for vertex selection. I'm going to select that vertex. I'm going to turn on proportional editing and just leave it on the default. Start pulling down and look at my circle, and I can sort of get a bit of a curve like that. And I may have to grab these guys and move them up a little bit, and just overall get a shape that looks like a circle. When I say circle, I mean a curve, really is what I mean, right? I'll scale a little bit. I'm going to put on Control 2 for 2 subdivisions, and then we can see the overall size and shape. Might scale that up a little bit. And that's what we have. And that's probably okay for what I want. All right, so I'm going to go into solid view, and I'm going to make the cushion. You can make it thinner than that. You can make it that thick. Whatever. I'm just going to pull it back like this, and I think I'll probably drop an edge loop right there, maybe use that later. Now, to create this, what I'm going to do, press 3 for face selection, C for paint select, is I'm going to select all those. I'm going to press I to inset. I'm going to pull in a little bit, and I'm going to actually break these out, separate by selection, so I have a separate piece there. Take this, and I'm going to shade smooth that. And so now I have an area that's not quite as round as the back. So I might drop another edge loop and just do that. Have it a little bit less round. And we'll work on the border first. So in edge selection, I'm going to Shift Alt and click this edge, not the one that I inset to. Shift D to duplicate, P to break it out. And I have this. I'm going to take that and I'm going to convert that to a curve. And in the curve dialog box under geometry and bevel depth, I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to start pulling. And I want it has to be relatively large. I'm going to Control 2 on that in order to cover the area. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to scale it to you sort of start seeing the inside of the other one, and it kind of covers this part, but I might scale it out just a little bit, so it looks a little bit nicer. And it's okay if it's like that. It looks like it's sort of pinched leather in there. So I've got this piece here, and I've got these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, select those, Control B and pull like that. I'm going to roll my mouse up one more so I have 3. I'm going to grab this, the middle one, hold shift, click, click, and click. And I'm going to take these and I'm just going to pull them back. With them still selected, you can't really tell because of the subdivision, I'm going to Control B to bevel and pull, and just pull something like that. And then it looks a little bit better. And then just go around and look and see if it's poking out and if you're happy with this. And I think it's okay. So let's try scaling this a bit bigger. That kind of covers it a bit nicer, but now this is showing through. Let's take that and try to scale it just a little bit. I think I'll take this and I'll scale it down just a small amount. And really, with the textures on, you're not going to see any little gap. You can fiddle with this as long as you want. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to take this, though, go into edit mode. I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it, and I'm going to pull it back here as well. And just get a position where I'm happy with it, where I can see it as a border, but it still looks reasonable. Maybe a little further back. And really, actually, what I could do with this one is I can scale it just a little bit. You'll never notice a difference, I hope. And maybe it does need to come back still. So like I said, this is the fiddling part. Okay, not bad. So we have that as the back. It's a little bit rounded like that. I think it's going to be okay, though. To make things easier to do the bottom, you could try... I'll turn on cavity shader first. You could try to take all of this and see what happens if you copy it. Shift D to duplicate it, pull it out. Let's set the origin to geometry. And you can rotate X 90, minus actually, and see if it looks like it would work with the same shape. And I kind of think it does. But, you know, maybe it'll just look like it's duplicated. So what I might do is not do that and just go ahead and create another one. But you certainly could do that. So I'll bring in a plane, scale it up like this. I'm going to extrude down. Let's see if it's like this. How does that look? Let's give that 2 subdivisions. Put something in there. Let's take the front and I to inset, pull it in, and let's break that out. Drop an edge loop here, and we'll break it like this, bevel it like that. So we'll have that shape. Maybe we drop one more, so it's a little bit less curved, but a bit curved. So we have this. Now we're going to put in our 5 edge loops like that, and we may have to fiddle with this one to make it fit. What we'll see. So let's go ahead and do the border part first. Let's Shift Alt and click there, Shift D to duplicate, P to break it out. So I've got that. I'm going to convert that to a curve, and let's bring that up. And shade smoothing, we'll put on Control 2, and we'll see. Let's leave it there for the moment, and let's work on this first of all. We can let's do the bevel part. So it might be slightly different than that one. You can try to do them exact if you want. Just going to split them, put a third one in, grab the middle one, and push them down a little bit. Control B to bevel, pull like this. So that's 2, 3, and we have those. That's okay. Now I'll drag an edge loop here, and that'll push the corners in, and they may stick out a little bit. And we could always try taking these corners here. I'll look down from the top, and maybe we'll just, let's hide this stuff here. Okay, let's just get that out of there and focus on this thing. Let's see, where is it sticking? It's sticking through here. So just for the moment, I'm just going to S to scale that in, and I don't know that it's sticking out anywhere else. This thing, is that in the right position, or should it go down a little bit, in which case we may have to adjust? And no, I think I liked it up. And we could think about pulling that up a little bit. Okay. All right, let's take this now. Yeah, all right. We could talk about tilting that later, but let's just go on now. So at this point, we're just using the diagram a little bit as a reference, and I don't know, probably more as just a guide. But let's try to do that bar there. I'm gonna bring that up there, and I'm gonna merge it center. So have a point. I'm just gonna pull it out here. We'll get it to the middle in a bit. I'm gonna put this about halfway under. Yeah, you see the bar here is about halfway under. All right. E to extrude, come up to here, or so. E to extrude, come up to about there. Let's extrude backwards now. And you decide how high you want your bar. I wanted it actually around a third to close to halfway up, so I could go a little higher. And then we're going to extrude back here. And with that done, I'm going to apply a mirror, or at least add a mirror. And I'll turn on clipping, and I'll come in here and I'll just push those together. And this one, I'll push that together. But these ones look like they need to come back a little bit. I think it was into the cushion. So I'll be putting a bar on there, and so we may need to adjust, like for example this height here. We can do some of that later. So let's curve these. So select this point, that'll have a curve on it, this one and this one. Shift Control B, hold Shift and pull, and there's 3. I'm actually going to go for 5 and have a nice curve like that. Okay. Now I'm going to convert that to a curve. That'll apply the mirror and come down here and hold Shift and pull. And maybe we'll just look at this, and maybe I do need to bring it down, or maybe it's fine with respect to mine. Basically what you want is this is going to have to come down just a little bit because it's going to connect to this. Just want to look at the back. The back's not bad actually. Let's shade smooth that. Back's not bad and the sides aren't bad, so I think what I'll do is just come in here, maybe grab it and just pull it down and match the diagram a bit more, because this device is going to be there. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to do anything. Now to attach, this is what holds this cushion. You could have just bolts, but on my diagram I've got a little device here that you could adjust to tighten it, and so you could actually rotate this around. You can't really see it. You can see this part here. I'll show you. I'm going to build it straight up for now. I'm going to select that vertex because it's right in the middle, and although my 3D cursor was too. And I'm going to build a plane. So I'm not really looking at the diagram now. I'm just going to do stuff. So you can do any size that you want that's reasonable. So I'm just going to do something like that, like a metal plate. And I may actually have to pull that bar back. I'm going to extrude it a little bit and get rid of that back face. And I'm going to grab the edges. So I just press 2 to go into edge selection. And I'm going to grab all these edges here. Control B and pull. I'll go with 3. And grab that. And 3. Take this and push it into here as best I can. Yeah, it's all right like that. Okay, I'm going to do some bolts, I think, to hold this in. I don't know if that's too wide, or I think it's probably all right. So to do the bolts, I mean, ideally you want to do a lot of stuff in texture, but I mean, I'm going to just go ahead and model stuff just anyhow. So I'm going to use 16 on this UV sphere and look from the side and go in and get rid of the bottom vertices, scale it down. I can scale in the Z a little bit, and I'm going to rotate X 90 minus, and just get a size of a bolt that you think would look good. And look from the back, G to pull that along, and just make sure it's in. and shade smooth. We can shade smooth. This probably get some shading errors. So I won't worry about that right now. I guess that's Control 1. I'm just going to copy these by hand. I'm going to go in though, Shift D, pull that to there. Actually, maybe pull them both down a little. Doesn't matter. Shift D. So we got some bolts. So I'm going to take those and this, and I'm going to join those right now. And then to connect it to the bar, I'm going to bring in a circle, and I'll go for maybe 20 vertices. Rotate Y 90. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to cut off all of these and leave this half. Take these 2 vertices and extrude them like this. E and SZ, scale in the Z to make it come up like that. I can adjust all this in a bit. I want to give it some length here. Yeah, I'll have to do some adjusting. Yeah, I'm going to scale it all down. So it kind of goes like this. And so let's look from the side and get a sense of this. So this is going to come in, and okay, we could grab all of these actually, pull them in. No, we can't. We're not in wireframe. And I'm going to give this some thickness in a second, so that's going to make a bit of a difference. But these are definitely too short. I can grab this and this SZ just a bit more, and you can put a bolt on there as well. Let's move that more into the center now, and let's make sure that it's not flipped, and let's try solidify on that. All right, and I'll turn on even thickness, and I'm okay with the default. I'm going to go ahead and apply that, and I can still, let's focus on, let's see, let's focus on getting this in. I'm going to scale it, bring it in. Okay, so that part sort of wraps around the bar. Okay, so now I'm going to grab these, actually not too much, just there, and I'm going to pull them down so they sort of make contact, like that. All right. Let's take this and do some work on it. Select this edge and this edge and that edge. Yeah, that's the one I wanted. That one and that one. Nope. Nope. That one. Bevel that. 3 is okay. And then Shift Alt and click, and you have to do it a bunch of times. No, I'll do this one first. Shift Alt and click that edge and that edge. Bevel that, just so it's a rounder transition. Now we'll go around. You have to do multiple selections all the way around to get the whole thing. I think we got it now. No, one more. And now we can bevel this. Control B, just with 3. Shade smooth, Control 1. We're putting 1 subdivision on it to make it nice and smooth. So that would come in there. Now, I am going to, right off the bat, let's decide if you want that higher. I'm going to apply that subdivision, and I'm going to join that. So I want that to be one piece. Do you want a bolt in there? Do we want to do that? Should I just try it? Let's see. Shift-D, G, scale it down, look from the side, and have it come out a little bit. And it looks like we're probably doing this. Yeah, there it is. All right. So we still need the dial to turn to move this, or you could just have it like that, and that's how it attaches. But I was thinking, let's make it a little bit more fun. I'm going to create a circle. Let's go for 18 vertices on this. Sometimes I know why I'm doing it a certain way, and other times I'm just playing around. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose check or deselect. I'm going to pull these in, scale them in a little bit. And with them still selected, I'm going to Shift Control B, hold Shift and pull, but I only want 2, like that. It's like a star. And then I'm going to come around and select, I'm holding Shift, all the outside vertices. I've done this lots of times to make knobs and stuff. Shift Control B, hold Shift, split it like that. So we have that. Scale it in a bit. Okay, E and S come in. Let's convert that to a circle with loop tools. Right click, loop tools, circle. E and S come into around there, and then F to make a face. So we're going to do something with that in a minute. Hopefully that'll look okay. They may even stick out a little bit too far, but I'm going to give it some thickness. And we're going to look from the side, and we're going to rotate X 90. Doesn't matter which direction it goes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to extrude it in a little bit. You can scale it too if you want. Select it all, Alt N, recalculate outside, and Shift Alt and click there, and Control B. And there's 2. I'll use 3. And on this side, I'm going to take the same circle and I'm going to extrude it out as like the post there. I'm not saying that's the size of it. It might be. I'm not sure yet. Bring that up to about the middle. Let's have a look at this. Yeah. You know, you could make it not come in so far. I'm going to add a bevel modifier on this and bring that up to 2. Just leave it at the default. And then I'm going to come in here and I may see if I can add one more. They'll just decrease the bevel a little bit and shade smooth. And that's probably what I'm going to go for. I have a little bit of shading issues, but I'm not going to worry about that. I don't like the thickness of this, so I'm going to Shift Alt and click it. Yeah, just to there. And I'm going to scale, but not in the Y. Scale, Shift Y. I just want it a little smaller. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to apply the bevel, and I'm going to join it onto my device there. Now, if I cared about that shading, I could use weighted normal, and normal's auto smooth, and that should clear it up, and it does. And so to get the idea of what I mean, if we select a central point like that there, that my cursor's right there, and if we were to take this and this and this and all of this and set the pivot to the 3D cursor, look from the side, I could just rotate around that. So the idea would be that you turn the knob, you could loosen it, and you could put your pillow where you want. But I'm actually going to leave it probably straight up. At least I am for now. So there's that. For better or for worse. And while we're up here, let's do some armrests. I really debated about what kind of armrests I wanted to have. And the more I think of it, I am really starting to think I'm going to select there, bring my 3D cursor there. I'm just thinking about very straightforward sort of plastic or wood or some kind of thing. You can do it in leather. Does that see its right place? Hopefully. I did forget one thing, and that is that these bars are supposed to be angled. You can see them angled, so it's up to you if you wanted to do that. I'm just thinking for this of a really simple thing like that. Top of there. I just want to look at the dimensions. I'm now feeling that this whole thing is a little bit long. And let's go back to median point. I just want to see if... okay, I think I'm going to do these two things first. Yep. And I'm just going to pull them in a little ways. I just felt like it was just too long. And then I'm going to take these and wireframe, and I'm just going to pull them in. But now I'll look in solid view. So that's one idea for the armrest. And another idea is to do this. Yeah. Another idea is using a circle. 18 is probably fine. Scale it down like that. Chop off the top here. Take these and extrude them up. F to make a face. And we have that. I'll make a face on that and extrude it back. something like this. Maybe we'll scale this in the Z a little bit. This is what I had before initially planned. Select here and Control B. With 3, that's fine. Select this and Control B. And then just take the whole thing and scale it any way you want. I may be off the diagram a bit, but this is what I'm coming up with. Maybe scale it a bit more. I'll get rid of that one. Okay, and that could still be a plastic thing. It's just a bit more of a design. So I'm going to Shift C to bring my 3D cursor back to the middle. And I'm going to take that. I might make it even a little bit bigger to match the diagram a bit more. And I'm going to set the origin to the 3D cursor and mirror that. Let's have a look at anything flipped. A lot of stuff. Okay, I'm going to have to take that piece and Alt and just flip. That one, probably just flip. And that one, recalculate inside. Okay, maybe it would look good tilted. Let's try that. Okay, set the 3D cursor as the pivot, select that, this, and this, look from the side, and rotate just a little bit, just to do something different. Doesn't hit the armrest, we have to think about that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So far so good. Shift C. Now we're going to do some underneath stuff. So let's select maybe that point there. Bring the 3D cursor. And I'm going to bring in a plane. And that's about the width. I'm looking at this thing here. Okay. But I think I want it longer. And maybe I'll make it a little narrower. Doesn't really matter. I do want it under the bar. So I'm going to start there, and I'm going to extrude up. I'm going to get rid of that face there. And I'm going to, and then Control B, but just have 2 and come out to maybe around there. Take this end and this end, bring it up so we get this angled type thing. Okay, and now I can look at this bar and decide I don't need it coming down quite so far, so I'm going to grab all these points, pull it up a little bit, just so it's kind of in the middle of there. And again, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect on the diagram, perfectly on the diagram. So I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to Shift Alt and click these edges on the outside, on that there, on that side, and on this side. And Control B, I'm going to pull and roll my mouse up so I have 3 edges. Get out of here. And then I'm going to Shift Alt and click all of these. And I'm going to bevel those as well with 3. And that'll give that sort of a soft sort of thing. Got some shading errors, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So I got that piece there. So let's do the little bar that comes out from the side. And to do that, I'm going to just grab any vertex because it's close, like that one. And I'll look from the side. Shift D to duplicate. G, I'm just going to pull it up roughly on level with that. And P to break it out. So I've got just that little dot. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to look from the front and I'm going to extrude out. Okay, I'm not quite at the same height as this, but that's okay. And I'm just going to look from the side now, and I'm going to just extrude down, something like that. Okay, I'm going to angle this part here, Shift Control B, and pull, and 3 is probably just fine for that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to convert it to a curve and increase the thickness to have a bar of sorts. I'll make it a little bit thicker. 0.02. Shade smooth. I'll leave it like that for now. I want to make a thicker part to it, this part here, and an easy way to do that is to select these two. That's a straight line. Shift D to duplicate, P to break it out. Select that and just increase the size in the curve. And if you don't like the position that it's in, you can take this, but go out of that to median point, switch to normal, and then you can just slide it down. That's good enough for me. However, I will actually be going into this one. I really don't need that long. It doesn't really matter. Well, you might get a few more segments, so maybe it does. And that's a curve. I'm going to put this at 3, and I'm going to convert this. Where is it? Convert that to a mesh, and I'm going to close this up. So select both of those. F to make a face. Control B, pull with 3. That's fine. And shade smooth. So we got that. And this one I'm going to put on 3 as well, and convert that to a mesh, and probably Control 1. I think that's going to be okay. And so I'm actually going to apply that, and I'm going to join those together. And we have our bar. Unless you want to put some kind of a joining mechanism or rotate it in any way. Yeah, so now we'll do this thing. So I'm going to select right here. I'm going to go back to global, and now I'm going to use a circle. And for this one, I'm going to use 22 vertices. And I'm going to rotate X 90 just to now to have it roughly in that orientation. F to make a face, E to extrude, come back a little ways, scale it down a bit, and come back a little ways. And then do I have a face here? I do. So I'm just going to use I to inset like this, E to extrude a bit and get rid of that face. And now I'm going to bevel these edges with 3. That's 3. And then Shift Alt and click these faces and press I twice. I. Hold Shift and pull. And once you're satisfied with the size, E, Alt S, and push. And bring them out just a little bit. Like that. I'm going to add a bevel. And I'm going to go up to 2 probably and shade smooth. And just get this to fit and get the right size. So scale it down a bit, bring it up, rotate it. Yeah, I need to make it smaller. Okay, I'm going to apply that. Whoops, not duplicate it. I'm going to apply that bevel. And I'm going to join that. And I'm going to join this to this. So far, so good. So what's left is, actually, let's just check the face. Yep. What's left is to make the legs. So let's go Shift Z and bring the 3D cursor right back to there. There are 5 legs on this. You can't count them. There are 5. And so I'm going to use a circle that has 10 vertices. You'll see why in a moment. 10 vertices. Okay, like that. And I'm going to go into edge selection. I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm leaving every second one. All right. And I'm going to press E and S and pull it out until it starts to look like the same, close to the same width, but it's going to be like propeller blades. So I'm going to switch into individual origins and S to scale and make them smaller. I'll make them a little bit smaller than that, like that. And that's looking okay so far. And I'm going to select all of the pieces of this, like that. I press E and S to come in. And I'm still in individual origin. I'm going to come back. I'm going to Control plus till I get that whole circle, and I start pulling it up like this. and just having a look at this. Let's move this whole baby down. And we can extrude down a little bit. Okay. Let's select these faces now. No, you know what? Let's select the top edge. Select the top edge and push them down a bit. Let's push them down like that. May not look exactly like this, but it's going to be kind of close. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. That's okay for the moment. This we're going to recalculate outside. We're going to be adding two subdivisions on there. It looks like a starfish. That's all well and good. So let's do this. Let's drag an edge loop up here and down here. And we're going to drag an edge loop individually down towards the tip. It's not going to go down the exact same distance, so just do it by eye. No one's going to measure your chair. So just drag it down until it looks pretty good to you. And it's still rounded, but it's looking like that. Okay, good. All right, how do I want to do? Let's see, is that wide enough? Scale Shift Z. Yeah, it's good enough. And I'm probably just going to stick a cylinder in it. So I could take this, a Shift D to duplicate it, pull it up, P to break it out. That only had 10, right? So I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm actually going to delete those faces and delete that and start again, actually. Select this and bring my 3D cursor there. And maybe make it smaller too, actually. Maybe take this and just scale it in a little bit. So I get the approximate width of this one. Okay, so that's good. And then I'm going to bring in another cylinder. And I'll just bring in something reasonable like 16. And I'll set it with nothing so we don't have it filled. And I'll pull that in. If I want to see that there's a connection of some sort, maybe I would... It's just overkill. Bring that down, do that. Take that and scale it. Yeah, it is overkill. There's no need for that. Just have it, plonk it on top there. And often you'll see that this does come down the bottom. F, Control B. In which case I would want to close this up. Let's just try just scaling it in. E and scaling it in. And maybe an edge loop. I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that shape and what it's doing there. And so let's look at this and let's box select here, drag it up, and it gets thinner after that. Yeah, like that piece there. So I'm just going to E and S, come in, E and come up. And that is going to attach to here. So I need to take all of this and I need to move it forward so that it goes into there. Just line it up centrally. Okay, so let's bevel this guy. I think all we need to do is bevel that edge with 3. Probably would do that edge with 3 as well. Shade smooth. And we're getting there. I don't know that I like this connection that much. Sometimes you'll see that it's one piece going up, but I think it's okay as it is. Just want to look at how the feet are, whether the feet would support that chair. Sometimes you'll need to drag it out. Scale Shift Z. Right, and that changes the diameter of my hole. Well, I just did it, so I might as well fix that. So I'm just going to do the top part. And I can turn off the subdivision, make it a little bit easier for me to get in here. And what do I got here? Let's get rid of all that. That stuff was doing something weird. Scale Shift Z, just pull it in. Change my mind. Put that back on. That's fine. Okay, so now To do the wheels, we need to find one of these that's sort of an orthographic position, and it looks like it's this one. Like if I look from Control 3, this one is nicely pushed out to the side. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this face, because all the other ones are going off on a weird angle. So I can just go Control 3 and I can look right from the side. And I'm going to bring in another cylinder. So I'm off the diagram right now. All right, I'm bringing a cylinder like this. Get it to fit. That's fine with me for the moment. And this has 16 vertices, so I could probably use this. Shift D to duplicate, pull this down, P to break it out. I'm going to take this, scale it up, and I'm going to rotate X 90 like that. So if I look there, this is what I have. Okay. So what I want from this is just the top half. So delete that. I'm just going to give this some thickness and then take it, pull it, scale it in the Y so that it's just a little bit wider than the cylinder there. And just figure out whereabouts I want this. I'm going to bring it down a bit. So that means I'm going to need to bring the cylinder up a bit. Although I will give this some thickness, so let's work on that. So I'm going to have that. You know, it might be nice to get rid of a couple more faces and just have a more shallow curve here. All right. E and Alt S. I'm going to pull, or you can push. And like we did before on the back, we're going to bevel this by grabbing these edges here. We're almost done. I'll put 3 and then Shift Alt and click a number of times all the way around to get all the outer edges. There we go. Control B, pull, shade smooth, and Control 1. We get a nice looking piece like that. Okay. That is going to connect to sort of a double kind of a wheel. So I'm just my 3D cursor there. I'm just going to bring in another circle. I'm going to make it 18. I am going to be using subdivision surfaces. I'm using them a lot in this, but you know, I want it to look decent. I have to make a face, E to extrude, take the whole thing, position it, and then just start looking at it. Let's look from the front, scaling it, and you know, just having it sort of like this. Just get it as nice and big as you can. You can see what I did over there in the diagram behind. Something like this, and then I'm going to split it like that. Control B, pull. I just want 2, and I'm going to come out to about there, so it looks like there's a little gap, and I guess maybe the cylinder would go down, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to E and Alt S, pull that in, and then I'm going to bevel all these edges with 3, and then I'm going to select these faces, I to inset, pull them in like this, E and scale in the Y, and push that in, and that'll go on both sides. 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click there and there, Control B. Now we'll also have to select these faces and inset one more time for shading. But if I shade it, and in fact I probably need edge loops here, so I put on a subdivision, and I got that. And then you just decide, is that too wide? Do I want them sticking out that much? Maybe I don't. Maybe it's like that. Good enough though. Okay, so now this is one subdivision. I'm going to go ahead and apply it. This is one subdivision. I'm going to apply that and that and that, and I'm going to join those. Those are the wheel parts. And I'm going to select this guy, Shift S, cursor to select it, so my 3D cursor is right in the middle of that. And I'm going to go into edit mode, select it all, switch to 3D cursor up on this. There's 5 of these, and that's 72 degrees to make up a total of 360. So I'm going to Shift D, rotate 72. Shift D, rotate 72. And just do that so I've got all 5 of them. But you will notice a problem. Right? The wheels are all there, but they're all facing inwards or whatever. So just decide on your direction, like let's say this one, and then I'm going to come in here, and that one has to be selected, and I'm just going to no, not that. Come back to here, and I'm just going to rotate it kind of almost in, and then you should be able to just box select and Control L, and let's see, whatever. Rotate in the Z and just kind of straighten it out roughly to follow that one. This one's okay, and this one, you just don't want it perfect. Rotate in the Z, have it like that or something. I think that's probably all right, and I think we have done it. Let's get rid of that, and let's take this guy and move it roughly back in the middle like this, and let's start applying this stuff and deciding if we can go down at all. I'm not going down. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to apply that. This stuff is a curve, and I'm going to give it 3 subdivisions. I'm going to have to put the subdivisions back on here, I think. Control 1. Is that good enough? Yeah. And I'm going to join that. Oh, was I not able? Did I not convert it? What have I done? There we go. This has subdivision of 2. I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to join. Okay, now I want all this. I want all these applied. All right, this has got a mirror. I'm going to apply it. It's not exciting, but this is a curve. I'm going to put on 3, and I'm going to convert to mesh. I didn't lose a mirror or anything. And this and this. I'm going to join those, and that's good enough for that part. I'm going to apply that subdivision, and I'm going to apply that subdivision. That's a curve, so I'm going to convert that with 3 and convert to mesh. And I'm going to put, let's say, Control 1. That's probably okay. And so I'll go ahead and I'll apply that. And I'll join these. And I'll join that to this. So I'm doing good so far. This thing is all joined. That can be joined. I'm joining everything together is what I'm doing. And I'm applying, and that would not look good as 1. So I'm going to apply it as 2. Join it. And then all of these, we're going to join those. Let's just double check that we have everything. No, we don't. Almost, though. And this thing, I'm not going to do any more tilting with that. I'm going to apply that. I'm going to come in and merge by distance. Oh, I got rid of a whole bunch of vertices. That's great. And if I want, I can add the weighted normal. And normal's auto smooth on top of the whole thing. And we have it done. But, yeah, that's okay. Does that change anything? It changed this piece here. All right, I'll come in here and I'll select and Control L, Alt N, flip. Everybody is now facing the right way. Good. Save. And I'm going to put that into, well, it is already in a collection. So I'm just going to call this chair. And you should see. And now I'm going to bring in a couple more of them and just rotate them. And that's going to be it for the time being. All right. We'll just have a look at our model. Rotate Z. Let's just do something like on an angle so we can see like that. Yeah, we can see a front, that, and we can't really see that stuff, can we? We want that, something like that. Okay, something like that anyhow. Let's turn off the screensaver. Screencast keys, not a screensaver, is it? I don't think we use screensavers anymore. And we'll do this, and we'll do this. Try that one. Try a shiny one and see. Oh, let's turn on, sorry, not there. Let's turn on the shadow. And that's the office chair right there. Okay, kind of an executive luxury. I don't know if you call it luxury with this stuff here. But we're going to texture that in the next video. It's got a little bit of detail. It's very easy to do, just a little bit of tweaking. And then you decide if you like the shape of these cushions. You can curve them if you want. You know, it's just up to you how you decide to do it. But let's see what it looks like textured. So join me for the next video and we'll finish this thing up. Thanks for watching.